Clark just did something that no athlete has done since Michael Jordan.
Remember when Michael Jordan's name alone could sell out any product instantly? Well, meet Caitlin Clark, the new sensation shaking up the basketball world and making some WNBA veterans sweat. It's not just the summer heat, it's Clark's historic deal that's echoing MJ's legendary impact. With immense talent and rising influence, she's proving that the new era of basketball might just belong to her.
Where he's like Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan, probably eventually Caitlin Clark, where it's like individual people make an entire country tune into their sport.
1,000%.
Like hockey was never bigger than when Wayne Gretzky was playing it, and it was ridiculous how much it grew the sport.
Tiger Woods.
Caitlin Clark isn't just selling merchandise, she's shifting basketball culture itself. Her groundbreaking partnership with a billion-dollar brand has set the sports world abuzz, and some veterans are feeling overshadowed. But this isn't just another endorsement deal. It's the most significant basketball collaboration since MJ first donned the swoosh, forever changing sneaker culture. Clark isn't just owning the court, she's conquering the business world too. And stay tuned. We'll close with some powerful words from Jordan himself and reveal a stat that uniquely connects them both.
But she's incredible. Congratulations to her and her family.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is I'm just seeing her last year when they played LSU, but she's phenomenal.
To put this in perspective, Wilson, the official game ball supplier for both the NBA and WNBA, has made Caitlin Clark the first female athlete since Michael Jordan to launch a signature basketball collection. You can almost hear Sheryl Swoopes grinding her teeth, especially since she's recently spoken more about Clark than her own iconic career. These aren't your typical gym class basketballs. They are sleek, white and gold masterpieces, laser-etched with designs celebrating Clark's career milestones. From the threes-up ball to the record breaker and crowd maestro, each tells the story of a phenom rewriting superstardom in sports.
Making her the first athlete since Michael Jordan to get their own signature basketball from Wilson. She also becomes the first WNBA player to get her own signature basketball from
Wilson couldn't keep up. Clark's signature basketball sold out in under 40 minutes, faster than you can say cryptic Aisha Wilson tweet. This wasn't a soft launch, it was a cultural moment on par with an iPhone drop or a Travis Scott sneaker collab. Then she dropped another surprise, a partnership with a major grocery chain. Yes, Clark is selling out like sneakers, in supermarkets. She's bridging the gap between sports and everyday life with unprecedented influence.
Calling all Caitlin Clark fans, 2 new limited edition basketballs are now available at select Hy-Vee stores. The designs are part of the Inspire series that Clark is doing in partnership with Wilson Sporting Goods. The tribute ball pays homage to Clark's time within the Iowa women's basketball team, and the Dreamer ball is designed to encourage athletes to pursue their dreams. Both are available in sizes 3 and 6 at select Hy-Vee.
Amanda Lamb, Wilson's head of global brand, put it plainly. Caitlin Clark isn't just a record setter, she's a cultural icon. Translation? She's not just another player, she's the player. Wilson isn't cashing in on a trend, they are betting on Clark to lead their women's basketball brand into the future. This is a total brand shift, and Clark's face is now the face of the game, signaling a transformative moment for the WNBA.
And when you take into stock the fact that outside of Kevin Durant, aging superstar, LeBron James, 40 years old, and Steph Curry, there's not a single NBA player more popular today than Caitlin Clark. That is a
The ripple effect is undeniable. Clark isn't just cashing endorsement checks, she's redefining the rules. Some locker rooms are growing tense as traditional endorsement deals vanish for longtime players. But the numbers speak louder than subtweets. Clark's WNBA games averaging 1.18 million viewers, triple the league average. She's not just raising the bar, she's launching it into orbit, and she's only just begun.
We knew Caitlin Clark was marketable, but she's been put over some pretty big names. In fact, some worldwide, huge, international names. 2 of them being Messi and Ronaldo.
Packed arenas, record TV ratings, viral clips every week. Caitlin Clark is reshaping the women's basketball landscape. Fans who didn't even know the WNBA existed last year are now clearing their schedules to catch Indiana Fever games. Why? Because Clark doesn't just play, she puts on a show. To Gen Z, she's a role model. To boomers, she evokes Larry Bird, but with a TikTok presence. Middle America is watching like it's the NFL. Everyone wants a piece of the Caitlin Clark phenomenon, except a few bitter veterans still stuck in denial.
But for Caitlin Clark, on a worldwide marketability list for athletes, to be ahead of both Messi and Ronaldo is quite impressive. Steph Curry is behind her on the.
While players like D.I. Jonai Carrington's subtweet and side-eye Clark's rise, she's building a billion-dollar brand. She's now in a club that only included Michael Jordan. Until now. And while critics throw shade, legends like Mike Breen are mentioning her alongside the greats. That's not an opinion, that's basketball canon.
And Clark, she's just getting started.
She's doing rating-wise for the WNBA what Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Steph Curry have been doing for the NBA.
Caitlin Clark has gone from basketball's best story to a global marketing powerhouse. Industry experts rank her the fourth most marketable athlete in the world, not just among women, not just in basketball, in the world. She's leapfrogged entire sports leagues and international stars, becoming the face of the most dynamic movement in women's sports. And now, with her in the spotlight, the WNBA is finally stepping into prime time. For real.
The idea of some players being jealous, yes, that probably exists.
Okay.
To me, yeah, jealous, sure. I mean, would you be jealous of somebody that got $28 million a shoe deal or whatever the deal is before you step foot in the pro?
But not everyone is cheering.
As Clark smiles for the cameras and redefines the business of basketball, veterans are feeling the pinch. A rookie comes in, breaks 62 records, sells out arenas, and pulls viewership numbers like Taylor Swift in high tops. It should be a dream. But the side eyes, hard fouls, and vague Instagram posts say otherwise. The dynamics are shifting, and not everyone's handling it with grace.
And what a lot of people weren't willing or were a bit reluctant to appreciate was the game on this young white sister of ours. She can ball. And oh, by the way, she was a great ambassador for the game. And by the way, she came in there and looked out for everybody else. For 22 years, they couldn't get chartered flights. That sister got there and it was done in 2 weeks. That's who Caitlin Clark is.
So why the bitterness?
Simple. Clark has what many never got: fame, endorsements, cultural cachet. Veterans ask, where was all this when we came up?
It's a valid question. But Clark isn't the problem.
Even Charles Barkley called it out. These ladies, they cannot have this Caitlin Clark thing up any worse if they try. Her success shines a light on long-standing issues: the pay gap, poor marketing, and a failure to grow the fan base.
She didn't create the cracks, but her rise is forcing the league to face them.
They try so long to get respect for women's basketball, and then they treat it like a junior high school girl's locker room. Junior high school girl antics on the court. Instead of playing the game, they gotta be drama because they're jealous. Instead of letting their skills speak for themselves, they gotta be drama because they're jealous.
The idea of a multimillionaire WNBA player was once a dream.
Now it's a headline.
But if veterans stay stuck on why her, they'll miss the bigger picture. What's possible now? Caitlin Clark is showing the way forward. The league must evolve, or risk becoming irrelevant. The future is knocking. Will they open the door?
These ladies, and I'm a WNBA fan, they cannot have this Caitlin Clark thing up any worse if they...
Just when it felt like the Caitlin Clark phenomenon had peaked, a legend stepped in, Michael Jordan himself.
He hadn't commented before, but when he did, it changed everything.
His public endorsement of Clark didn't just validate her, it cemented her place in basketball history. The conversation is no longer if she belongs.
It's how far she'll go.
This was more than a quote. It was a passing of the torch.
So she spoke out against that. She got people paid. She got better travel arrangements. She increased the ratings and the revenue, which obviously the WNBA benefited exponentially because now you got a $200 million deal. All of these things being considered, you damn right. It is appropriate that she got Athlete of the Year. She is special. And she's...
Caitlin Clark's Michael Jordan deal exposes Angel Reese's emotional reaction in a way that goes far beyond basketball, crossing into the realm of legacy, history, rivalry, and personal pride, because when the face of basketball itself, the legendary Michael Jordan, a figure synonymous with greatness, dominance, and cultural impact, steps into the modern women's game and places his symbolic stamp of approval on a young superstar like Caitlin Clark, it changes the narrative entirely, sparking admiration, controversy, and inevitably envy. and Angel Reese, who has long been positioned as both Clark's rival and counterpart in the rise of women's basketball, could not hide her raw emotions as the world watched Clark's star ascend to a level that no one else in her generation has yet achieved, because this was not just about an endorsement deal or a handshake, it was about
Now, what little girl wants to grow up and play in a league where you're targeted like that? How do you sit here and profess and demand that everyone take women's sports seriously when you can't even take it seriously enough to not act like a junior high queen on the court? It's stupid. That's so dumb. It looks like a soap opera.
Jay essentially passing the torch about the recognition of Clark's ability to transcend the WNBA and women's college basketball into a global brand, about the acknowledgement that Clark's impact has already begun to mirror the energy, magnetism, and transformative power Jordan himself brought to the NBA, and for Reese, who has her own immense following, nil success, and personality-driven influence, the sight of Clark securing something tied directly to Michael Jordan felt like a dagger, not just to her competitive heart but to her sense of place in the hierarchy of this new era, because deep down she knows that, while she has built her image as the unapologetic, confident, defiant star, the one who brings attitude and fire, it is Caitlin who has been embraced by the establishment, the legends, and the industry as the true centerpiece of the game's future, and that recognition exposed Reese's emotional vulnerability in front of millions of fans and critics who are always ready to compare the two, to pit them against each other, to declare one the hero and the other the villain, to decide who deserves the crown of the WNBA's next global icon. And as Jordan's deal with Clark went viral across social media platforms, sparking hashtags, think pieces, and endless debate shows, Reese was forced to respond, not with silence but with an emotional reaction that revealed the complicated duality.
What if I told you a WNBA rookie was out here doing what no one thought was possible and outshining the great Michael Jordan's legacy? How would you react? Caitlin Clark is the girl flipping the script. Her rookie numbers are ridiculous. Fans, analysts, and even Michael Jordan stans are
of her role, part rival, part ally, part competitor, part foil. Because she knows she benefits from the rivalry just as much as she suffers from constantly being cast in Clark's shadow, and the media, ever hungry for storylines that blend sports with drama, seized on every word, every facial expression, every subtle post Reese made, dissecting whether her tone carried jealousy, bitterness, or genuine respect, and in this dissection lay the real story. Because Angel Reese has always been painted as the villain to Caitlin's golden girl, yet in truth both women have pushed the game forward in unprecedented ways, drawing unprecedented ratings, filling arenas, and forcing networks to place women's basketball on primetime television, but still, it was Clark's alignment with Michael Jordan, a deal symbolizing not just financial opportunity but legacy validation, that crystallized her position as the chosen one. And Reese, no matter how talented, no matter how magnetic, no matter how...
You know well enough that in 1984, when Michael Jordan came into the NBA, the ratings in the NBA were not great. Chicago Stadium was, a third full.
How unapologetically herself could not mask the sting of watching her rival take a leap into the stratosphere. And this emotional reaction exposed both her humanity and the unspoken truth of sports, that greatness is not only measured in points scored, rebounds grabbed, or titles won, but also in cultural impact, in who gets embraced by the gods of the game. And when Jordan looked at Caitlin Clark, the message was clear. This is the future. This is the one carrying my spirit into the next generation. This is the player whose fire, skill, and marketability align with the same forces that made me a global phenomenon. And for Angel Reese, whose entire career has been framed by both rivalry and comparison, the moment left her visibly shaken, visibly exposed, caught between admiration and frustration, pride and envy, because she too wants that level of recognition. She too believes in her place at the table. But in the eyes of the public and the legends who shape narratives, the spotlight, at least for now, belongs to Caitlin Clark. And thus the Jordan deal did more than sign a contract. It redefined the rivalry. It reset the narrative. It revealed Reese's emotional vulnerability. And it reminded the world that behind every stat line and highlight reel there are real emotions, rivalries, and dreams clashing in ways that make sports not just competition but theater, culture, and human drama at its finest. And so Caitlin Clark's Michael Jordan deal will be remembered not just for the brand synergy or financial numbers, but for the way it exposed Angel Reese's emotional reaction and forced the world to confront the intensity, jealousy, admiration, and raw emotion that fuel the fire of this golden era of women's basketball. proving once again that when greatness anoints greatness, everyone else must deal with the fallout. And Reese's emotional response is the very proof of how high the stakes have become, how deeply these young stars feel the weight of legacy, and how much the world is watching every single move.